Why does a country with freezing winters have the warmest hearts in the world? In the country of Canada, kindness is not a random choice. It is a lifestyle shaped through many generations. Every day that passes, millions of people spend their time doing things without receiving a salary. What is special is most of this work is not an obligation. No one requests it. There are no contracts. If you find this story interesting, please stay with me until the end of the video. Today, we will together unlock these secrets. In today's journey, we will go through 3 parts. Part 1 talks about the education system. Part 2 talks about social organizational structure. Part 3 talks about deep life philosophy. Now, let us begin. Part 1: Education System and Community Awareness. To understand deeply the origin of kindness, we must begin where the seeds are sown. That is in the school chairs. In the country of Canada, volunteering is not spontaneous. It is a core part of education. Let us look at the reality. In the province of Ontario, the Ministry of Education here has established a regulation, a strict but deeply humane regulation, for a student to be eligible to receive a diploma, a national high school graduation diploma. They are required to complete 40 hours of service for the local community. Students usually begin this journey in grade 9. At age 14, they can choose to work at the library, helping to arrange old books, or reading stories to small children. Many others choose clubs, supporting coaches at sports stadiums. There are also groups that go to geriatric centers. They listen to historical stories. It is these hours of practical work that have created a psychological transformation. According to the report from Statistics Canada in 2023, the youth group from 15 to 24 is the most active force in society. 79% of youth in that age group have performed volunteering activities. An even more astonishing figure: on average, each young volunteer contributes 106 hours throughout 1 year. Recall the requirement of the school. It is only the number of 40 hours. So why do they do twice as much? even 3 times the requirement? It is because kindness has become a joy. It is no longer a mandatory obligation. When young people feel they are useful, their self-esteem will increase. They learn how to communicate socially. They learn how to solve problems and understand the value of nonprofit labor. The educational environment also creates projects, practical community fundraising projects, led by the students themselves. It could be planting more local trees, or organizing regional charity music nights. This action helps students understand that each individual has the power to change the living environment around them. When giving is encouraged from childhood, it will become part of the identity. These young people, when growing up and entering life, they bring that spirit into the workplace, into the lifestyle of each small family. This is exactly how Canada creates a generation that knows how to care and share. They understand that a prosperous society is not only measured by economic indicators, but measured by the willingness to support each other, especially in the most difficult times. The discipline in early education has transformed into voluntariness in the soul. That seed has sprouted and spread to every corner of this land. This is the firmest foundation to build a humane community. Key vocabulary: education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Part 2: Organizational structure and socioeconomic impact. Kindness in this country is operated like a professional and extremely tight machine. We do not view volunteering in the country of Canada as spontaneous work based on data from the organization Imagine Canada. Currently, in this country, there are about 170,000 charities and non-profits operating officially. This force contributes about $82 billion to the annual gross domestic product, equivalent to 8.1% of the entire country's GDP. This figure is actually larger than the current retail industry, or the entire national agricultural sector. Now, let us look at the distribution data from the survey by Statistics Canada last year. Men usually participate in sports and recreation organizations. They take on administrative roles or coaches for local teams. Meanwhile, Canadian women focus on health and social services. They account for a very large proportion in supporting at public hospitals or childcare centers. The professionalism of these organizations is shown through the recruitment process. Volunteers must go through background check steps, especially when working with children. They are trained in professional skills, in professional ethics and information security. Another important practical point is their contribution to national food security. According to the Hunger Count report published by Food Banks Canada, the number of times people use food at food banks monthly has reached 1,900,000. This is the highest increase in history, and this huge relief system is operated mainly by the force of volunteers. They sort vegetables, they pack food, they drive delivery trucks. If the government had to pay wages at the minimum rate for this force, the national budget would have to spend billions more dollars every year. This activity also has strategic value in integrating immigrants. Canada welcomes about 500,000 new immigrants, according to the annual plan. For these newcomers, volunteering is a practical stepping stone. It helps them gain what is called Canadian work experience. This is the most key factor for them to find formal jobs. Practical social research shows immigrants who participate in volunteering have the ability to find jobs 40% faster than others. The government also applies tax credit policies for donations. This encourages large corporations like RBC Bank or TELUS Group to invest hundreds of millions of dollars annually into community development projects. This is not a polishing activity. It is a part of the economic strategy, helping to reduce pressure on the health and welfare system of the federal government. Kindness, organized methodically, will create real economic value, and that value turns back to nurture a trusting community. If you are feeling these shares are useful, please press like on the video and subscribe to the channel to accompany us in the next cultural journeys. Your support is the source of motivation for us to spread knowledge to more people. Key vocabulary. Volunteering is the backbone of a resilient and thriving society. Part 3. Life philosophy and inheritance between generations. To complete the social picture, we need to analyze more deeply the interaction between generations. Although the youth group has the highest participation rate, but the elderly group in Canada is actually the one contributing the largest number of working hours. Based on data from Statistics Canada, volunteers aged 65 and older spend an average of 220 hours per year on local community activities. This figure is actually twice as high as the younger group. Why is there this phenomenon? This is not just a matter of free time in old age. This is a life strategy to fight against social isolation in developed societies today. Loneliness in the elderly is a serious medical issue. However, in this country, instead of becoming passive recipients of care from the state, the elderly choose to contribute. They bring with them accumulated wisdom and decades of experience into nonprofit organizations. According to a survey by the Conference Board of Canada, the elderly play the role of advisors for startup businesses. They participate in the boards of local charity organizations, or simply maintain culture at museums and libraries. This contribution creates the concept of intergenerational social capital. Young people provide new labor force. The elderly provide spiritual guidance. This connection helps this society avoid the breakdown of core values. In this red maple leaf country, people consider volunteering as a type of preventive medicine for community mental health. This activity helps reduce symptoms of depression. Research from the University of British Columbia points out that volunteers have a life satisfaction level that is 20% higher. Corporate culture, such as at RBC Bank or TD Bank Group, also contributes to this philosophy. They implement programs that allow employees to do charity right during main working hours. They believe that an employee who knows how to care about the community will have better labor productivity. The tax system of Canada also thoroughly supports these activities. Individuals, when contributing finances or professional time, all receive certificates for income tax deduction. This creates a practical motivation, helping the cash flow in society to always be circulated to where it is needed most. Kindness is operated like a continuous and unstoppable flow. Students are taught by the elderly. When growing up, they then spend time to care for the next generation. This is exactly the bonding glue that helps a multi-ethnic country like this maintain long-term harmony. They do not measure national wealth only by bank account balances. They measure it by the peace of mind when knowing that if encountering difficulties, the community will not abandon them. Kindness here has been elevated from personal emotions into a value system, a truly sustainable value system, helping people live with a purpose and society to develop humanely. Key vocabulary. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. The introduction sequence. Looking back at this entire journey, we see one thing clearly. Kindness in the country of Canada is not merely about numbers. It is a testament to how a nation can operate based on kindness. The volunteer system has created a real safety net where support is always present before administrative machineries can operate in time. In the future, when technology increasingly develops, then the values of direct connection will become more precious than ever. Giving back and contributing does not only bring benefits to the recipient, it is also a precious medicine for the soul of the giver. Kindness does not need reasons that are too big. It only needs a heart always willing to open up. If you love these gentle, slow, and inspiring stories like this, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Your support is a great motivation for us to continue spreading humanistic values. True happiness does not lie in what you are holding. It lies in the values that you are willing to give to life. Thank you very much for listening until this very moment. Wish you a day always full of inspiration and encountering many kind joys. See you again in our next journeys.